All right, Shalom. Giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arachak, Wadash. Double understood the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations until hopefully like tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. And it's just the World War III update. And this might be going on the countdown to the third World Series. But this was clipped by Russian media, and this is supposed to be, one of the Russian spokesmen for the Kremlin. He's like a Russian propagandist. He always speak on the status of relations and the conflicts that they're currently in, with the beast. You got France, you got the UK, these Western nations that have to fall in line with the US policy, especially due to them being the beast that's ridden by the whore. So they have to follow in suit with what Babylon do. But they're calling for a ceasefire, between Russia and Ukraine. And Putin, he's down for the talk, but the sentiment over there in Russia is they really don't want to talk. They really don't want a ceasefire, and ultimately, it's the spirit of the Lord that's stirring up this conflict, because we know for sure that the Most High, he's going to end Esau's world with a final bang, where all these nations are going to be gathered together for war, the war of Armageddon. All right. And it's going to end in a major nuclear fallout that result in, Babylon being overthrown, completely wiped out, and never to be inhabited again. So I'm going to just play some of this clip right here. And even though he's speaking in his Russian language, you can see the English subtitles, so you can actually, read along as you listen. But basically, they're ready to just, take the gloves off. They're ready to just say, hey man, the hell with a ceasefire. Let's really get down to it. How many nukes y'all got? How much territory y'all willing to give up or sacrifice? All right, so this dude, he's talking major shit right here. All right, and this is just only the beginning. All right, and things are going to continue to escalate. They're claiming that there's going to be talks, after Putin spoke with Trump, but we'll see how that go. All right, but remember, things don't go according to plan because the Heavenly Father's counsel is what takes the precedent. All right. As a matter of fact, let me grab that. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 21 and 19. Nope. It's 19 and 21. I always get them mixed up. 19 in verse 21, and it says, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. Let me get it in the NLT. It says you can make many plans, peace talks, ceasefire deals. You could do all that. It says, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. All right. And the Lord said, there's no peace unto the wicked. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as a woman in travail. So it doesn't even matter. All right. All we know is that the Lord is, he's mustering the host of the battle, and he's preparing these nations for war. Okay. And, just to see this right here, this is on IG. And it says European leaders have issued a ceasefire ultimatum to Putin, which is why you have this Kremlin spokesman, this propagandist. All right, he's responding to it. It says either he negotiates an end to the war or Europe will unleash massive sanctions against Russia and supply Ukraine devastating weapons. And it's not like America hasn't already done that, right? Putin now has less than 24 hours to respond. Europe is backing Ukraine with the leadership and courage Trump refused to show. And that shows you the divide between the whore and the beast right now. All right. So, this thing is unraveling. All right. But right now, this is just, like it says in Matthew 24, this is just wars and rumors of wars. Matter of fact, let me grab that too. Matthew 24 and verse 6. And it reads, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. You still got India and Pakistan, going at it. Russia's, picking a side. The other side is picking a side. All right. Any day, China can move in on Taiwan to undermine, America's posture over there on their side of the world, in their territory. All right. And then Russia, they're doubling down. They're not they're not finna fold. All right. They're standing on 10 toes regarding Ukraine. They like, we're tired of the Nazification of Ukraine. We might as well, we're in a process right now to do with Ukraine as we did with Crimea. That assures us that we don't have to deal with, any type of threat, from, you NATO powers, that are very, very close to our front yard. Because we know that once they get into NATO, you're going to put a nuclear facility right there. So this is what this is all is about. So I'll read the next few verses and then we'll get into it. It says, nation will go to war against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world. You just had another earthquake on the East Coast somewhere. I think it was in the South, if I'm not mistaken. So these earthquakes are just appearing everywhere in different places of the world that they usually don't happen. Because that's part of the signs that, we're getting close to the end. Okay. You had, it's a bunch of them, man. All right. A bunch of earthquakes. So it says, but all this is only the first of the birth pains with more to come. Okay. So let's get into it.
Макрон заявляет, вы вообще все о чем?
And this is his response to the U.S. and in Europe giving that ultimatum to Putin. So he's talking major shit.
Перемирие для чего? Остановить войну. Зачем? Которую
He's basically saying, turn down for what? Right? Turn down for what? Yeah, that's what he's saying. Why? It's all right for them to continue to help Israel bomb Gaza, to oblivion, and turn Syria into a dystopia, a ruinous heap. It's all right for them to do that. It's all right for them to supply weapons to destroy Yemen. They get to terrorize the world and nobody tells them to, hey, ceasefire or else. Nobody's telling them that, but these guys are fighting what they perceive as a threat, in their territory, which Ukraine was once a part of their collective, and they're telling them, no, y'all got to stop or else. So they're like, what are you talking about?
Стала Россия в 2014 году, заявляет ничтожество Макрона. То есть конченые ничтожества навязывают нарративы, которые не имеют вообще ничего общего к происходящему. Простой вопрос. Вы все о чем? Вы вот реально все говорите о чем? Собирается кучка кокаиновых уродов. Мерц, Макрон едут в Россию, падают на колени и ползут в Питере на Пискаревское кладбище. И просто ползут на коленях, вымаливать прощение. Они наследники нацистских режимов, известные подлостью прославленных отцов. Не в Киев выступать с какими-то там требованиями к великой стране. Вообще, извините, что происходит? Что это вообще за навязанный какой-то абсолютно ложный нарратив? Вообще, вы все о чем? Трамп, вы ведете санкции против России? Макрон, у России есть 10 часов. Идиот, у нас есть 15 минут, чтобы ракета долетела.
He talking big shit, man. Wait, you said we got 10 hours, motherfucker. We got 15 minutes for our missiles to reach you. They're talking big shit, man. But this is beautiful. This is all part of the theater of war. So here, two superpowers clash and have war of words with each other. This is where it gets before they really start scrapping, before they get to scrapping, man. You have fighting words first. And this is the Most High. He's stirring it up, man. The Lord he's a man of war. All right. This war is going to end in that final result. Them arrows going to get to flying eventually. Okay. But like I said, and this is just propaganda on Russia's end. And then of course you got, the Western media and their propaganda. All right. But this is going to lead to, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, as it is written.
До любой точки в твоей долбанной никчемной стране, которая существует только благодаря доброте нашего руководства. Какие-то ничтожества собрались вместе с Тамер какой-то. Кто их выбирал? О чем эти люди? Они собрались, чтобы послать строгий знак. Значит так, ваша коллективная ядерная мощь Франции и Британии ничтожна. Ваши территории таковы, что вы не способны на этой территории оставить хотя бы квадратный метр земли.
He's saying what amount of land mass, which land that you occupy that you're incapable of preserving, that in this war would get totally wiped out, destroyed. What landmass are y'all willing to sacrifice? That's what he's saying. And comparing their landmass, Britain, France versus Russia. We know Russia is huge landmass. So he's basically saying we're willing to go there because it would take a lot more of your nuclear might to get us, versus you. It would take way more. Us, we can get to you very quickly, and you don't have the same amount of landmass, square miles, to be willing to sacrifice. All right, so he's talking, man.
Который не был бы уничтожен, если вы решите с нами ввязаться в войну на уничтожение. А у нас территорий много. Вы ведете санкции? В очередь запишитесь. Мы почему не вводим ответные меры? Почему до сих пор в России существует посольство Франции, Великобритании и Германии? Вон из страны, сволочи! Ах, мы должны получать визы, чтобы туда путешествовать. Будем получать, как раньше, через третьи страны, которым доверим выполнение этих функций посольских, если так надо, консульских. Например, Венгрия, страна Евросоюза. Когда на полном серьезе собираются министры иностранных дел во Львове нацистских государств и в святые дни мая пытаются принять решение о трибунале, который будет судить Россию.
Now, let me real quick. Let me skip, because you're gonna say something that's key, and it definitely relates to a Bible prophecy.
Нацистские твари сметь голос поднимать против моей страны. Вы привыкли к тому, что мы с вами заигрываем. Мы хотим войти в братскую семью цивилизованных народов. Вот всю эту хрень Горбачевско-Ельцинскую забудьте. Вы не заслужили нашей любви. Вы...
Let me see. Oh, here we go.
Не летят ли российские ракеты? Вы должны ночью просыпаться в холодном поту и прислушиваться к небу. Не летят ли российские ракеты, чтобы раз и навсегда?
Ooh, hold up. Let me bring it back. He said, you should wake up at a night in a cold sweat.
В холодном поту и прислушиваться
and listen up to the sky.
К небу. Не летят ли
to hear whether the Russian missiles are flying.
Российские ракеты, чтобы раз и навсегда.
To burn down this Sodom and Gomorrah once and for all. Jeesh. Yeah. He's saying y'all should be nervous waking up in cold sweats and looking up to anticipate them Russian nuclear warheads flying across your sky to burn down Sodom and Gomorrah once and for all, man. So he's talking. And guess what? He's talking now. It all sounds like, it's propaganda. This is their sentiment. He's just talking for now. But you don't think that that's in the spirit with what the Lord has in stores? What did the Lord say? He said the overthrow is going to be like he did Sodom and Gomorrah when he destroys this place. Let's go to Isaiah 13 and verse 17. And this is in the NLT. And it says, look, I will stir up the Medes against Babylon. They cannot be tempted by silver or bribed with gold. The Medes is talking about the Russians now. All right. Which the people that occupy the Medes right now happen to be Edomites. Okay. The original Medians or which goes back to Madai, those were the sons of Japhet. All right. But the Japhites of today do not occupy that land. All right. For Mr. Ron Doughton out there. Okay. This is talking about the modern Medes. Okay, the Lord's stirring them up. He's inciting Russia. All right, they're the main superpower that can rival the beast and the whore, which is why they have to, be together to fight that bear. It says the attacking armies will shoot down the young men with arrows. All right, and understand, when the prophets, when they would use a similitude. All right, this ain't no regular, ordinary arrows. All right, we know that this is a metaphor for those nukes that's going to be getting shot off. It says they will have no mercy on helpless babies and will show no compassion for children. And that's when it's going to be really up. The Lord's going to put the spirit on them to do it. After all these all these countless failed ceasefires and peace talks, it's just going to be up at that point. It says, Babylon, the most glorious of kingdoms, the flower of Chaldean pride, will be devastated like Sodom and Gomorrah when the Most High destroyed them. All right. You see that? That's what it's going to be. Let me get it in the KJV. And it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which will not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. All right. It's just going to be a desert wasteland after the smoke clears. It's going to be full of ash, okay, and a bunch of desert creatures. So right now, yeah, he's bluffing. He's just talking, but he's echoing the sentiment of the Kremlin. But eventually this is going to actually happen. So let me run that back again.
Есть. И нам не нужна ваша любовь, нам нужен ваш страх. Вы должны ночью просыпаться в холодном поту и прислушиваться к небу. Не летят ли российские ракеты, чтобы раз и навсегда?
Yeah, them arrows, all right? Because only an arrow can't make a land become desolate, and you compare it to the overthrow of what the Lord did to Sodom and Gomorrah when he rained fire and brimstone on it and cleared it out. You're not doing that with just no bow and arrows. All right. And even back in the ancient world where they would light their arrows aflame and then shoot it, and launch them, and then they would, land on the other side and cause, fire or whatever. But that's not what that's talking about. Because you're not from you can't shoot from one landmass. A man doesn't have the physical might to shoot from one landmass over into a whole nother territory of land, miles and miles and miles away. That doesn't work. Okay. You understand when the Bible is using similitude. Let's go to 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra 16 and 13, it says, for strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow. And it's the nations that's going to be bending this bow. When you read Jeremiah, all the nations that have the bow, shoot at her and spare no arrows. All right. That's what he instructed these nations to do. The northern country and all the kingdoms that are assembled with it. Everybody that have the bow, shoot at her and spare no arrows. All right, it says his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. They're not going to miss their intended targets, because the Lord's going to guide those missiles when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So that's clearly not talking about no regular bow and arrow. Okay. So that's what that's going into. Let's go to Jeremiah 50. It is Jeremiah 50 and 25. It says, the Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. And that's what those arrows are. All right. The instruments of death. All right. That's what he's going to ordain against these our oppressors. It says, for this is the work of the Lord God of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. And we jump down. And it says, Jeremiah 50 and 39, it says, therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the island shall dwell there, and the owl shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Like it says in Isaiah 13, they will not have any pity on the fruit of the womb. Right? Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. It's talking about the missile. You could read Joel, the second chapter, also Revelation, Revelation 9. Okay, 9 is starting around the 16th verse. It says, everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. Because the missiles are going to come in formation like an army. And they're going to shoot, and it's going to be sharp. They're going to have complete accuracy. Especially the technology that the Russians got, in China. Those missiles will be here very quickly before you know it. Which is why it says in Revelation 18 that, in 1 hour, did this holy city Babylon, get thrown down. All the riches, everything will come to naught in 1 hour because it's going to happen quick. Okay. So, this dude, he knows what he's saying, but he don't know what he's really saying. All right. But that's what's going to eventually happen. He's going to burn, the Lord's going to burn down this Sodom and Gomorrah. Babylon is spiritually called Sodom in Revelation 11. And he's referring to the U.S. and also Europe, okay, which is the beast.
Выжечите Содом и Гоморру. Вы должны 100 раз думать перед тем, как свои грязные рты будете открывать. Что у вас есть? Сколько штыков? Сколько боеголовок?
You're saying, what's y'all apparatus? What y'all holding? What y'all got? Y'all ready? Talking that talk, man.
Никакие-то не... Надо называть вещи своими именами. Это никакие не демократические страны. Это сборище нацистских преступников. Сколько это может продолжаться? Кого?
So,
если вы слушаете вот эту сторону, что-то зависит.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop it right there. But I thought this was worthy enough to do a response. And ultimately the Lord he's just preparing it, man. Raising up more and more attention. Let me get Joel and then we'll close it. Joel 3 and verse 9, and it says, proclaim you this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pointing hooks into spears, let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, till they cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord is lining these nations up for this. All right, for the Lord's very own purpose. You know, to bring this man down, his whole system, his infrastructure, his power, his dominance, put an end to it all. All right. And who's next up to rule? Not Moab, you know, not Russia. We talking about a everlasting kingdom, an uninterrupted rule, world without end. All right, the true children of Israel, not the imposters, not the converts. Okay, the real Israel. So anyway, hopefully y'all edify them, give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Shalom.